Hey, what up, everybody out there? King JB doing my thing. You know how it usually goes. MMA Kingdom. Just want to post a quick video in reference to Strike Force and my opinion on its future and what's been going on recently. Um, First of all, I want to give a shout out to all my sponsors. You know, Inner Beast Sportswear, Gorilla MMA, Mobsters Fight Gear, MMAMadhouse.com, Fight Crew Apparel, MMA Fit Club. Don't want to forget about Full Guard Fight Gear. Everybody else out there, man, I love what y'all do for me. I appreciate it. Make sure y'all check out the new website at www.themmakingdom.com. Thank you to MMA Madhouse for helping us launch that, get that up and running. Big ups to Daniel Clark, too, my webmaster slash partner in terms of running the Kingdom website. Big ups to Jason London, my co-host in terms of MMA Affiliates Radio. So I definitely want to say thank you to everybody out there. When it comes to Strike Force, what I want to talk about is, I mentioned it when the UFC and Zuffa first bought out Strike Force. I wrote an article for MMA Bay's community site that talked about the monopoly, and I said that how I do not believe it would be good for the sport. In a lot of ways, I still feel that I feel that it could be good for the fans, but I feel that at the same time for the fighters it's bad because you don't have a lot of options. We need other companies that could pay some of the fees, some of the salaries, and you know what I mean, the purses that the UFC pays. And we're not really getting that at the moment. And Strikeforce was our only hope. And now that's pretty much gone, we're going through a lot of bullshit. Now, a lot of people are going to ask me, why do I think Strikeforce is gone? Let me say this, okay? Strikeforce, since Zuffas took over, they've lost so much shit, and it's insane. Let's look at the champions. Alistair Overeem, heavyweight champion of the world, released. Dan Henderson, light heavyweight champion of the world, contract expired, no new contract. Probably on his way to the UFC. Let's look at the welterweight champion of the world, Nick Diaz, already in the UFC. Title is vacant. Marlos Conan just lost the Chicks title. She's on her way. She got released, which tells me when the UFC or Zuffa releases, starts releasing these women's fighters, especially someone like Marlos Conan, who is one of the best in the world, that tells me right there that they're not going to keep this division. Dana White made it very clear that his problem with the women's division is that there's not enough high-level talent. So why the fuck would he release one of the high-level talent fighters when it's all obviously so short as it is? I think the answer is obvious. I think the women's division is gone. We'll see that probably in the next coming months. We all know Strikeforce's deal, I believe, with Showtime ends in February. You saw what happened with the Alistair Overeem situation. Look, for a company that was willing to reschedule the fights back in April all the way to June, if you remember right, those fights were supposed to already take place, I believe, in April, the tournament fights. They were willing to reschedule it then. Why were they not willing to wait 1 month for Alistair Overeem to be able to fight? I say that the answer to that's simple. They want to get this tournament over by February because that's when the deal ends with Showtime. Why would they be in such a hurry to get the tournament over if they intended on re-signing with Showtime? The truth of it is they're not going to re-sign with Showtime, which will effectively kill off Strikeforce. We saw that with Pride. If they weren't going to keep Pride around, there's no way in hell they're going to keep Strikeforce. A lot of us are Pride fans. The truth of it is Pride, other than the UFC, was probably the best organization outside the UFC. I'm not part of this cult following that believes Pride was better than the UFC. I'll never say that. I do like the head kicks and things like that. There's some things about Pride that I like better than the UFC. And I'm glad that Pride's going to be in the new UFC video game. But essentially, to say Pride was better than the UFC, that's just fucking stupid. Just keeping it real, it's fucking stupid. To say any MMA organization is better than the UFC is just fucking stupid. So I'm not even going to go there. But anyways, Strikeforce obviously is being walked down the green mile. I'd say there's no question about that. You look at the situation, all the champions are gone, the talent's being picked. Fedor is now gone. Overeem is gone. Uh, Karatanov, let's be real, because he trains with Team Golden Glory, I mean, because he's part of that management system, he's going to be released after his fight with Josh Barnett. We already know that. Something tells me he may not even make it to that fight. But we already know Karatanov's out. He's going to be gone. So really, man, it's kind of insane. But everybody is leaving Strikeforce or getting fired. I think Dana White's definitely sabotaging what little there is left of Strikeforce. I'm a big Dana guy, but you know, for some reason, I really feel like some of these companies really miss out on great opportunities. And I'm going to take you guys back a little bit to something that has nothing to do with MMA. But I'm going to go to pro wrestling for a second. Remember when the WWE bought out, they were WWF then. Remember when they bought out WCW and ECW? That was a golden opportunity to give the fans of pro wrestling their dream matches, and really book some successful storyline type shit based on that feud. Same thing goes with the UFC. When they bought Pride, WEC, and now Strikeforce, they have the same opportunity. Granted, they're doing it with Nick Diaz. And but getting rid of Overeem, cheating us of Overeem versus Velasquez or Overeem versus Brock or anything like that is kind of fucked up. Fedor versus Couture. You know, if I was the guy behind the scenes, this shit would go a whole different way. Because regardless of whether they want to promote two businesses at once or not, listen, man, every fan of this shit loves to see the crossover fights. Same thing, like I said, when I mentioned the WWE, every fan wanted to see Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair. Same thing goes in UFC. We wanted to see Vanderlei Silva from Pride against Chuck Liddell in UFC. Well, granted, we got that, but it was a much different situation, and you know it. We all wanted to see, obviously, Nick Diaz versus GSP. They gave us that. I'll give them that. But there's so many other things that they could be doing right now, and it's like they're so. Dana White and Zuffa is so headstrong on destroying Strikeforce. They don't care about actually what we want, and that's actually the disgusting thing about the whole situation. I really hope and wish they get their shit together in terms of this. But Strikeforce, I'd say it's obvious, man. There's a shitload of vacant titles in Strikeforce. The women's division's being killed off. Scott Coker doesn't run shit anymore. We all know that. Business as usual. I have to agree with MMAfighting.com. It means the death of Strikeforce. We're witnessing it. We all knew it was going to happen, but it's happening a lot sooner, I think, than a lot of us expected. So, with that being said, obviously, that's it. Strikeforce, I think, will be dead February of 2012. It's my official prediction. I'm sure a lot of people share that same date. If that is indeed when the Showtime contract expires, which I've been informed that that's what it is, I believe 100% Strikeforce dies February 2012 without a shadow of a doubt. Why do you think they're not announcing that the tournament winner will be the heavyweight champion of Strikeforce? Because there is going to be no heavyweight champion of Strikeforce. There's going to be no Strikeforce. That's just my opinion. If you guys agree with it, cool. If not, I'd love to debate it. I'd love to hear you guys' opinion. But is there anyone around that really thinks Strikeforce is going to be around a while? I heard Kenny Florian on MMA Live say that Strikeforce is being good that they're being kept alive. They're not being kept alive. They're being murdered every single time as we speak. And what's sad about this whole situation is the best cards that we've got in 2011 come from Strikeforce, not the UFC. That's my opinion. Even though I still think UFC is the better product overall. The best 5-fight, 4-fight, and 5-fight main cards come from Strikeforce this year. I really, truly believe that. So it's a shame that there's actually people that believe Strikeforce is alive and well and, UFC is going to keep him around. But I'd say it's pretty obvious Strikeforce is dead. That's it. That's all I really got, man. Strikeforce is walking the green mile. Dead man walking. We out this bitch. King JB, MMA Kingdom. Just wanted to give you a few things right there, man. Peace out.